So thank you for everybody for jumping on today. I know everybody's got busy days. I'm a little bit worn out here, so I'll just be right up front about that. I'm a long-time Chicago person, so my Chicago Cubs won the World Series last night. So the sky's a little bluer, the sun is a little bit brighter, and I'm a little bit happier. So go Cubs! They have to get that little promo in there. But listen, I really appreciate everybody jumping in here. I'm excited to be part of this quorum to discuss things that are going on within the industry and great opportunities for people to join in, invest in, and learn more about the cannabis industry and certainly more about our company, Canna Security America. We go by CSA as kind of our acronym, and we're excited to be here. As everyone mentioned, I am President and CEO of the organization, and I'm excited to be able to present to you today. So let's walk through a couple of slides and give you some information. Certainly at the end, I'm happy to answer any questions that anyone has. I'll try to be as transparent as possible and give you as much information as I possibly can. Obviously, since we're a publicly traded company, there are certain things that we have to be careful of. We all understand that. So let's move on. First of all, Canna Security America, CSA, kind of an executive summary for us. You know, we are really the leading comprehensive solution company out there. You know, we do everything within the licensed cannabis industry. We're in Denver. I don't necessarily need to read all this to you, but what we've been able to do is really leverage on our ability to really capitalize on helping people in all the states that have an opportunity for either legalized marijuana for medical as well as for recreational. So we have helped write many of the legislations and regulations for some of the states that are out right now, especially in Denver. We are based in Denver. We've got 2 locations, one in the Denver metro area and then one in Fort Collins. Our ticker symbol is CSAX. We are on the OTC markets. I would be remiss if I didn't share with some information, again, being transparent. Our filings are a little bit delinquent. It is very costly, as many of you may know, to be filed on the OTCs, and we are in the process of catching those filings up. A lot has happened for us in this last year, and doing an audit from 2015 has turned out to be a little bit more comprehensive than I think we all recognized it would be. So in an effort to just be candid with everyone, our filings are well underway for our 10K and our Qs, and we should have everything back up to speed and be back on track by certainly by the beginning of December. So we're just finishing up some of the last pieces on the audits and on the Qs. So I just want to tell everybody about that. From a historical standpoint, our company was founded in 2009. And when we were founded, we were one of the very first companies in this space. And the industry really in Colorado started in around that time. And during that time, we really helped to write many of the regulations that are currently in play today and are being used in states across the United States. We were at the table helping to write the security regulations to, 1, keep people protected and their employees protected, but 2, keep the product and equipment protected as well. So we helped to write all those regulations and the compliance issues that are currently in place. We're currently available right now in 14 states. We've done installations in over 500 facilities right now. The 100% compliance rating aspect. What I referenced here is we do one of our arms of our business, and I'll talk about that shortly here. One of the arms of our business is we help companies to get compliant as it relates to their security or their MED license. And so all of us that are in this industry or that are in servicing the industry, they need to get a license. So oftentimes what they need is they need to get a layout, a security plan, and all the information necessary to apply and achieve their license. Every time that we've been involved in that, we've helped our customers 100% of the time achieve their compliance ratings. Pretty cool. We are, as I mentioned up front, we are the most comprehensive or total solution in the industry. There are many companies out in the industry right now that provide certain aspects of the security or ancillary service for the cannabis industry. We are really one of very, very few companies out there that do it all. And what I mean by do it all, there's really 4 pieces to that. First piece would certainly be the guards that stand on site, and I'll talk about this in a little bit, the armored cars that move the cash, the security systems, which means the alarm systems, and then lastly, the compliance and the counseling and consulting, helping people get their compliance ratings. So we're one of very, very few all across the U.S. that can do that. We have consultants that have worked and understand all the regulations in all the legalized states. I guess a little blurb from a historical standpoint. As of this year, I have taken over as president of the organization. We had some movement in our organization. Our former CEO did resign, and we've had some changes in our organization that are all to the benefit. And as you will see in our stocks, our company is definitely on the move. One of the key reasons from an historical standpoint is we just did an acquisition of Big Al Security in August of 2016 here, and this now makes us one of the single largest supplier of security in the cannabis industry all across the U.S. So some pretty cool times ahead for us. From an industry standpoint, I think many of you may or may not have seen a slide similar to this, but I took a kind of an approach at this and looked at what the industry growth is. Since you're all on this call, I think you all recognize the opportunity to be part of an industry such as this. This is one of those rare opportunities in a growing industry that is really booming. My background comes from Fortune 500 and private equity and taking small and medium-sized companies public. So I've had experience in looking at growth markets like this, but in my opinion, this is one of the most exciting growth industries out there. And so I thought this slide kind of captured some of that opportunity for all of us. One of the other key slides I wanted to kind of share out here, this was done by Marijuana Business Daily, and the gang over there, we talk on a regular basis. And one of the key things that compliance regulators look at from an infraction area is the security piece. Everyone spends that is in either the grow, the manufacturing, or the dispensary, those 3 items, each of them has to get approved and regulated by the MED. And they come and inspect. And one of the key areas for infractions is the security standpoint. And so what we try to do with our customers and what we offer to our customers is the very best opportunity for them to be in compliance so they don't get shut down. Dispensary being shut down for a day, a week, a month can be a huge and almost devastating piece to a company. Same thing with a grow or a manufacturer. So where we come in based upon the regulations and the infractions, we help our customers not to have to worry about that. So that makes us a great opportunity to help the industry. To kind of get just real briefly, kind of walk through some aspects of our company. As I mentioned, we do a number of things. From a first standpoint, I thought just a quick slide to kind of walk you through it. From a standpoint of total and comprehensive service, some of the things that we do is the system and the service. We provide cameras, and we provide alarm systems. We provide CCTV monitoring service and door access, to the extent that we can help our customers recognize how to lock certain doors and only let certain people with certain keys or certain keypads or certain door access codes to get into a facility or get into a room. So if you've got your products stored there, you can have an opportunity to get a data report so that if anything was missing, you could track it down. The industry in total has a problem with theft in some of the locations, as much as 5 to 10%. So what we do is by installing the systems internally, we're able to help management keep an eye not only on their employees, but on their valuable product and assets. So we provide that. In addition to that, we want to keep the bad people out. And so we give you the ability to capture that data, cameras inside, outside, with alarm systems and monitoring that can get as granular as being able to view this information on your cell phone sitting at home, so that we are able to help protect you. An example of some detail that we go to help our customers, which is really totally different in the industry. We get detailed or in depth with our customers and our prospects. And we do this on a regular basis where we we draw out all the programs that are necessary to meet the regulations, but we also draw out all the layout of the organization, showing them exactly where they should have cameras and where we are going to put cameras and how we are going to link everything together. This is important because when a customer goes to get a license, they need this documentation. The more detail they have, the better chance they have of getting their license and not having to worry about any problems with the MED. In addition, why this is important, it sets us apart from the competition that we may have, because we go to a greater depth and detail to help our customers be sure that they're protected. From a guard standpoint, we have really two sides to the guard services for us. Guards are very important to this industry, and almost all of our guards are armed. We have maybe a very few guards that are not armed based upon our customers' request. Our recommendation to all our customers is that our guards are armed. Now, having an armed guard in your site could sound dangerous in certain cases. But what we've done is we've taken the extra effort to, one, hire the very, very best people out there. 99% of all our employees are either former military or former law enforcement. But we take it to another level. We train our employees on a regular basis on how to use their weapon, how to not use their weapon, how to disarm a situation, and how to work with our customers. Our guards oftentimes are a customer service for our client in a dispensary. They're the ones checking an ID. So we put them through extensive training on how to check IDs, how to work with customers, and how to work with the people coming into our customers' place of business. Our guards stand out head and shoulders against our competition. We hire the best, we train them, we evaluate them, and we make sure that they take care of the customers on a regular basis. As such, we go to all our customers on a quarterly basis and do a review, so that all of our customers understand that they have an opportunity to share with us things that they would like to change and things they would like to improve, or things are going great. So we give an opportunity for everyone to have a say. So the key thing for us, guards are great, hire the best, train the best, make sure they're doing the right job on a regular basis. On the service side, one of the key things to this industry that we're very, very excited about, and is probably one of the fastest growing parts of our business currently, is the transportation standpoint. We have vehicles that have GPS, cameras, and really the best facility, or the best vehicle for facilitating the transportation and movement of cash from point A to point B. Our vehicles are designed specifically to meet the needs of the clients, but more importantly, to be able to protect the product or asset in that vehicle, in this case cash. And so we have a pretty detailed approach to an SOP on how we really move cash. Cash is a huge piece for us. As it's been released in public releases here, we have a huge agreement with a company called CFN, where we are going to be moving cash for them on a regular basis across the United States. We have other contracts with other customers that a strategic agreement that I can't announce yet, but should be able to next week, that will again have a huge impact on our business. The movement of cash and how that grows our business is an enormous opportunity and sets us apart in the industry. There are companies out there that just move cash. There are companies out there that just have guards. There are companies that just have an alarm system. We tie it all together so it's seamless to the customer, and it makes us stand aside well above our competition. One of the other things as far as how we manage things, anybody can say anything about how you're doing. But our logistics and our world-class logistics, we take it to the next level. We don't leave anything to chance. We want to know exactly where our vehicles are at any given time. So as I mentioned, we have cameras one camera that sits in the cab, one camera that looks out the front, one camera that's inside the cargo bay, one camera that's at the rear of the door, so that we can see anything everywhere. In addition to that, each of our vehicles has a GPS unit attached to it so we can see where our vehicle is at any given moment. So this gives us an opportunity to really understand the client's needs, build the logistics that gives us the best cost for running our business. Because if someone's going to invest in our company, you're going to want to invest in our company because we are managing the investments that are made into our company. And I can assure you, coming from my background, free cash flow is the key thing for me. Selling profitable business is the key thing. And so when we can manage the logistics to make sure we run it more efficiently, but two, provide that service to our customers so they can feel comfortable that we can handle it. That gives you a little bit of information about that. We also, as I mentioned, we also do provide compliance consulting where we help them with their regulations, their licensing, risk assessment, and really the best practices. Next slide talks about the states that we are currently licensed in. So we, as I mentioned, we have 2 locations. We have a location in Denver and a location in Fort Collins. And we are licensed to service all of Colorado. We currently are also licensed to service all of Oregon and Arizona, and are working on our California license and some pretty cool things that we're doing already in California, Nevada, Washington State, and other states such as Illinois, New Jersey, Michigan, Florida. So some pretty cool things that we're moving forward on. One of the aspects that I really wanted to kind of talk big picture from an investment standpoint, and as companies look at the best companies to invest in and why that's a good thing. Growing your company through acquisitions is great. Growing it through organically is great. We want to do a little bit of both. We were fortunate enough to be able to do an amazing acquisition that, again, makes us one of the single largest security companies all across the U.S. Our acquisition of Big Al's Security allows us to really do and bring something different to our clients. The team at Big Al Security, then we purchased them, probably 95 to 98% of all their employees were all former military. Al Burke, who is the president of Big Al Security, he is a former Marine. His 2 partners, John and Will, are again Army and Marines. These are top-notch guys, and so the level of training and the level of benefit that we had when we made the acquisition just strengthened the already top-notch security service that CSA can order. So now making Big Al's with CSA, now it makes us one of the biggest and the best all across the United States. One of the cool things that just came out, some of you may or may not have seen this, we were selected to be on the cover of Canna Investor magazine, and this was is a great opportunity for us to showcase who we are, what we do. Inside the magazine, we have I don't know, a 9 to 12-page spread, kind of detailing some of the things that I'm talking about, some of the cool things that we're doing as an organization, and why we stand apart, and why, as a security service in this industry, we are top-notch. The individuals on here really kind of showcase who we are as an organization. The person in the white shirt, that happens to be me. The person in the blue shirt on stripes, that happens to be Big Al or Al Burke. And the gentlemen that are in the security uniforms, these are some of our management people that manage all across our service line. So we have a great team of people that are all professionals. We take this very seriously. One of the things that was referenced in the magazine is the rankings of stock. And so there's 2 things that the stock is ranked on: long-term investment and short-term. we were very fortunate enough to be ranked as the 16th highest long-term investment for a stock. And what's referenced here is, and as you can see, we're in great company with some of the companies above us. But what's also very interesting, I think, for everybody here is we are the top-ranked security company for long-term investment. If you look to the right side of the screen, you'll see that the top 25 short-term stock picks, there we are ranked number 12th. And so, again, we are very pleased, proud, and appreciative of being chosen in those rounds. Obviously, it's not always just about your stock price. Some companies can have a great price. It's about your management. It's about your outlook. It's about how you train your employees. It's about how you manage your cash. And it's how you really fortify yourself to the customer base and to the industry. So I think all those things aside make us a great investment for companies and people as well. Another cool thing that I think is somewhat noteworthy, as an organization, we were just nominated. The Canna Awards is a very prestigious award run by Seth Adler and his team, and we have the fortunate opportunity to be nominated, and we're nominated in 2 categories: the most influential organization. And what's noteworthy here, that the nominations came from outside, just us voting for ourselves. These came from other people. We are the only security-based company that was nominated as the most influential organization. So we are just enormously proud of that, and we're hopeful that we win the award. So getting nominated is just a huge feat. We'd certainly like to close it out by winning it. And then they did nominate me as the most influential person. And as I mentioned, my Cubs won. My wife loves me. I could care less about an award for myself, but I'm very appreciative to be nominated as an influential person in the industry. My background, how I've tried to build out this company, hopefully is helping other organizations across this industry, because we're trying to take a different approach. It's not just selling a lot of business. It's about selling the right business, managing your business right, all your cost levels, keeping your costs under control, hiring the very finest people out there, driving a profit to the bottom line, keeping your CapEx in the right level, and obviously managing your free cash flow. So I'm very happy to have had that opportunity, and I'm very excited to be nominated. I put a slide up here that kind of references, maybe big picture, the states that we're currently servicing right now, doing a lot of work with. What's really interesting, the smallest one on here, Hawaii, we're doing some pretty cool things out there that have just started. And I think obviously the holy grail for all of us is the California market, because we know that the election is looking very positive for that to pass for full recreational. And we are already doing a lot of business in California. The Desert Hot Springs area, we have some enormous customers that we're doing some business with. We also have a lot of business in the Southern Cal and Northern Cal, and are starting some huge cash transportation in California that is starting here in the next few weeks. So it's pretty cool times for us. Last few slides, I just want to kind of reference a little bit. You know, we want to be the best security in the industry. Being the largest, having the highest stock price, that doesn't mean anything to me. Stock valuations are sometimes inflated by certain pieces and certain things. But we want to be able to provide the best service. We provide the best service, give us the best returns on the investments made in us, managing our P&L, our balance sheet, our free cash flow. Our stock will go through the ceiling because we're managing our business bigger and better than anyone else in this industry. So it is my intention to run this company like it should be run and a normal company should be managed, to be able to manage all the aspects that bring us the best return on our investment. As such, we are going to be expanding into other markets across the marketplace. And we have several acquisitions that we are already evaluating right now. So it gives us an opportunity to even expand and expedite our growth even faster. The outlook for us for this coming year, and maybe kind of looking back just a little bit and where we've been. CSA as an organization in 2015 was about $800,000. Fiscal 2016, the company would do 1.3 in revenue. Big Al's security that we purchased was on pace to do 2.5. Obviously, if we combine those together, we're a $3.8 million company. But really what's more important for, I think, people on this phone is where we're going. And so projected combined revenues for 2017, we're going to be at $5 million or above. And so that definitely sets us in a different sphere. And as we look at other key acquisitions, that number could explode. So we are in a high growth area. That really concludes a lot of the information that I wanted to share. I wanted to keep it short, sweet, to the point. We're all busy. Nobody needs to hear a salesperson blah, blah, blah on their own aspect. But certainly I am happy to answer any questions that anyone has, either now or certainly you can feel free to ring me and give me a shout or email me. But I want to turn it back over to you, Derwin, and see if there's any questions from anybody. And thank you very much, everyone, for the time.
Okay, first question, Tom. How do you feel your company can compete long-term with companies such as Helix, who has access to large amounts of metadata via their agreement with MJ Freeway and their acquisition of Cannabis?
You know, Helix is a great great competitor of ours. I have a lot of respect for the gang over at Helix. You know, there's a number of ways to skin the cat. Metadata is great to have. There's a number of ways to get that metadata, and there's a number of ways to really build out your organization. Having data that is at your access is one aspect. But at the other point, the reason why customers and companies grow is the ability to be able to meet a need. And I feel like our company stands head and shoulders against anyone in the organization, not just Helix, but that we provide a great service. Getting the information, who to sell to and how to sell to them, where they're at, where their phone numbers are, who the owners are, those are all things that are easy enough to attain. But it's being able to meet the needs of the customer that gets you the deal, that closes the deal, as well as to keep the customer long-term, providing the very best service in the marketplace.
Okay, next question, Tom. Any impact, first of all, they say thanks for the outlook. Any impacts to Canna Security America if California recreational passes? What does your financial outlook look like if California rec passes?
Well, I know there's probably a technical term for this. I guess I would reference a technical term, holy shit. And I'm being a smarty here, but we are well entrenched already in California. So we are already doing a lot of business and have a lot of contacts and relationships already established in California. We have geared ourselves up for this marketplace. We recognize this is a huge opportunity. What's unique for us is that us being licensed in Colorado, Oregon, and Arizona already, and working on the licensing aspect in California, this really gives us kind of the triangle or the diamond shape, whatever you want to call it, to be able to service really everything west of the Rockies. We are already doing business in Nevada. We are already doing business in Arizona, Oregon, Washington State, and California already. Once California does legalize, we already have contracts that are ready to go, literally, as I've mentioned, in the next few weeks, where we are going to be providing the three arms of our service. Cash transport, huge cash transport opportunities that we are going to be starting here shortly. Guard services, where we're already providing that, as well as system installations to help customers that are now setting up shop. So it's a huge opportunity for us.
So are you saying, Tom, that $5 million outlook, you're going to blow that out the water if California passes?
If California passes, I'm certainly, I don't want to set unrealistic expectations. I could BS everyone here. I'd rather set a real expectation than exceed that expectation and blow everybody's mind. But I would tell you that $5 million number is a conservative number.
Next question, Tom. Do you see any uplifting in the future?
From an uplifting, can you give me a little bit more clarity as far as what you're looking, what kind of information you're looking for?
They're talking about uplifting from OTC.
I don't think that's certainly the next piece for us, and we've looked at that. The NASDAQ would be the next key piece. Certainly we want to make sure that we're lock solid on all our filings on a regular basis. Those of you that are in this space, you recognize that it can be very mind-numbing on all the reports that are necessary and all the filing information and all the documentation and all the money necessary to keep yourselves current. So I don't really see that to be a short-term play. Certainly we would evaluate that as time would permit.
Next question. Tom, you mentioned CCTV, alarm, and door access as part of your security solutions. What about safes and modular vault rooms and grow vault? Do you add these to your security plans and solutions?
Yes, we work in partnership with a large, probably the largest safe company in the U.S., where we help customers with that purchase and help companies as it's necessary. But I think probably more importantly, we help customers with the design and where things should go best in a facility. Many of the grows that are out there right now, these are old warehouse facilities, and we have a lot of experience in how to set up a location and how to give you the best opportunity to, one, protect your assets, protect your employees, keep everybody safe, all those things. But we do have absolute opportunities to help people with that aspect.
Next question. Blue Line Protection Group offers a lot of the same services you offer. How will you separate your model from theirs?
Again, Dan Allen and the team over at Blue Line are a great group of people, good competitor. Again, it's just as the others that we mentioned. I think what's different against us and, again, anybody, but let's just specifically say Blue Line, again, great competitor. I think what we do is a little bit different. And as such, our background and experience in doing things is really more customer-centric. We really try to focus in on training our employees, hiring the very best employees, paying them a very fair wage, doing things that help us from not only from a creativity standpoint, but from a technology standpoint that help us stand above and beyond everyone else in the industry. So I think we provide the service that is no nonsense to anybody out in the marketplace. So with our compliance that we provide to a customer or a prospect up front, that sets us apart. Our guard services that we hire people, the very finest security officers that are coming from the military, former vets, as well as law enforcement. But that's one side of it. The other side, we train our people on a regular basis, not just on weapon carrying, but how to disarm a situation, how to handle customer service, our transportation and our logistics, and all our technology that goes to managing that. And then lastly, providing the very best quality service for installation. Those four things set us apart from anyone in the industry.
Next question. Could you provide any color on the exit of the last CEO?
The only information that I could provide is Dan Williams, who started the organization as founder and CEO of the organization. Dan did decide to resign the organization as released in an 8K filing. Dan, we did run into an IRS issue, which again is public information, so I'd rather just talk about it than somebody find it out. But since that time, I have been able to handle the IRS situation. That is well below us now and beyond us, and we are in good shape and in good standings with the IRS. But the only thing I can share further is Dan Williams did resign from the organization, and he is pursuing other things outside of the security industry.
Okay, Tom, this is a long-winded question, but I'll ask it. I'll try to summarize it. So your stock price has been decreasing over the past, 9, 10 months. What do you think the reason was for that fall? And then what was the reason for the stock to start appreciating over the past month? And do you have any plans what are your plans to get the stock price up further?
Great. That's actually a really great question. So again, from a candid standpoint, I'm a numbers guy. So when our stock first went out, our stock was trading on average, and for the first 120 days, and I graph and everything and look at everything from different perspectives, but our stock was trading somewhere between 25 to as high as 45 cents over the first 120 days, and it was averaging about 32 cents. So that was great. The reason why the stock dropped off really probably in about March or April, our stock dropped off because we then became delinquent on some of our filings. And it is more difficult for customers to purchase when a company is on the pink sheets. We are one of the very few companies that is on the OTC, not on the pink sheets. Other companies are. But we want to get ourselves back on the OTC, and that will be done and completed by December. So that was the reason why the stock price dropped off dramatically. In addition to that, the reason why the stock has now gone back up, and as of this morning, probably an hour or so ago, I think it was 12.5 cents, our stock has almost tripled in its price from where it was probably 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago. And the reason for that is now we are on our rebound. And so when you go through a CEO resigning an organization, when you go through an IRS issue that we needed to go through and come through cleanly, by the way, when you go through a new investor that has helped really invest new money into the company, and then when you go through buying and making an acquisition of a company that is bigger than you, there is some settling in. Now that we've gotten that stuff settled in, now we are leveraged to really go to the next level. As such, we have a management team that is lean, organized, and focused. We have really a different approach to how we're running our business. Now that we're the largest, we're doing a better job on our campaign and marketing ourselves to the marketplace. There's more information for everyone that is an investor. So I think between those things and what we're doing with our growth aspect, those are going to be the key things that are going to continue to get that stock back up. And certainly I can't say what I think the stock will be, but I would certainly say that I would anticipate the stock to get back up to where it was or even larger than that. And the reason for that is it's not great marketing. It's about results. It's about marketing because you need to get information, but it's about the results. It's about the ability to manage your business, provide great service, and return the investment to the investor.
The next question, Tom, you probably can't answer it with dollar figures. It's regarding your revenue, but maybe you can answer it in percentages. It's a three-part question. Let me ask the first one. What is CSA's revenues for cannabis-related services versus non-cannabis? So if you want to answer that question, maybe you can answer it in a percentage. What percentage of your revenues is cannabis-related and non-cannabis?
I would say that our percentage of cannabis-related business in total is, certainly better than 60%.
Okay, that's great. Next question regarding revenues. CSA's revenue breakdown by business line, cameras, transport, events. Could you give a percentage on that? If you can.
Yeah, I can give you some brief things. I would tell you that approximately 50 to 60% of our revenue comes from our guard services. I would tell you about 30% of our revenue comes from our transportation, 25 to 30% comes from our transportation, and then the balance comes from our system side. Now, I would tell you that is that's a moving bogey. what exponentially, and I think probably the better question is what's growing now. And where we're seeing the huge growth impact is in the cash transportation. And quite honestly, that's really one of our primary focuses for the reason, and again, if you're not getting the sense that I'm a sales, marketing, and financial person that likes to run an operation, it's all about the return on the investment for me. And so cash transport is one of the more profitable sides of the business. Guard services in total, I don't care if you're looking within the cannabis industry or outside the cannabis industry, the guard service profitability margins are not as great as maybe other areas. So my strength, or what my goal is, I guess probably a better way to put it, is to make sure that we keep our margins as high as we possibly can and go after the business that has the best margins and best opportunities for us to grow our organization.
And the last part of that question, Tom, and you probably won't be able to answer this question in full, CSA's revenue breakdown by state, but maybe you can give us your top 3-4 states. Maybe that'll suffice.
Well, I think I referenced that a little bit earlier. I mean, you know, for us, and I think for any of the cannabis-related industry, that we're all about the same. You know, it's all about Colorado, it's all about Nevada now growing, Washington State, Oregon, California, and Arizona. That's really where we're all at right now. That's really where the money's at today. But there are things that we are starting to do in other states that I don't necessarily can't talk about right now that gets us positioned as new states are coming on board. So there's some great things going on up in Ohio. So I would say right now those are the states that not only are we getting the most revenue, but everyone in the industry is as well.
And another tough question regarding your security guards in each state. You probably can't go through that, but which are your biggest states of employment for the security guards?
You know, again, I would say it's in the same aspect that I mentioned right before that, in the same states that we're talking about here.
Okay. Next question. You're getting some hard questions, Tom. I appreciate you answering the questions. Has the ex-CEO become a competitor of yours? Has he started a security company in cannabis space?
No, he has not, and nor can he. As part of the agreement for him to move on, there was certainly, you know, in an effort and in essence to protect the organization and to protect him, we certainly put together parameters that would allow protection so that one, he can't take any company information, and two, he can't be an active competitor in the industry against us or anybody else in this space. So I'm not sure what he's going to do next, but I know it will not be in this this arena.
And the last question, Tom, if and when the federal law changes and legalizes nationwide and changes the law, how do you see that impacting your cash transfer service, since it would stand to reason that the industry can start using regular banking services?
Well, you know, that's a really interesting question. I get asked that a lot from people, and you know, what's interesting is, you know, laws have been passed, such like as in Ohio. A law was passed to move forward with that, but there takes so much time to get really the aspect of all the regulations and legislation and laws and all the statutes that have to be written. So we are years away from that aspect. You know, let's say hypothetically, whoever wins the election and however that works, let's say it's taken off Schedule 1 and it's legalized in, say, 24 months. Let's just dream big. And I think that would be great. But by the time frame that everything is enacted and banks are on board and how we're going to do that and all the protocols put into place, you're at least another year or more thereafter before that will ever impact us at all. However, in addition to that, you're still going to have a bag of cash and or people that are going to want to come in and pay for cash that way. So you're still going to have some of that going on. But at also the same time, my background is moving and sticking with the way an industry goes. So if you only think flat and you only look at what the industry is currently and don't look on the outlook, which I can't really speak about what we're doing, but we're already looking forward and past that standpoint and different things that we're going to be providing to the industry that not only will help us keep the same level of growth, but expand on that as well.
Well, thank you, Tom. That concludes our Q&A. Any last comments regarding Canna Security America?
Go Cubs, and you know we'd love for you to learn more about us. We'd love for you to certainly if you like what we're talking about, we'd certainly like to hear from you. Vote for us on the Canna Awards, but more importantly, we appreciate everyone's support to the cannabis industry. This is an us movement that we're trying to do the right things, and our mission here is to protect the people, the product, the customers and the employees throughout the United States. So I appreciate the time and thank you very much.
Thank you, Tom, and we really appreciate you presenting on this open forum. We know it's a tough forum, and when CEOs come and present on the Cannabis Investor webcast, they're doing everything to be transparent to shareholders and investors. So we really appreciate your transparency, and thank you for your presentation.
My pleasure.
Marijuana, policemen in the street, searching the Cali weed. Policemen in the field, boy, oh, burning the Cali weed. But if you continue to burn up the herb, we gonna burn down the cane field. If you continue to burn up the herb, we gonna burn down the cane field. Oh. In my garden, oh, black, black roses in my garden. To keep and care it, you've got to water it.